The final wildcard spot is up for grabs, and the Diamondbacks have made it loud and clear. They want it.
You are Locked On Diamondbacks, your daily Arizona Diamondbacks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, and welcome to the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast, the show where we talk nothing but the D-backs Monday through Friday. And thank you so much for making Locked On Diamondbacks your first listen of the day. I am your host, Danon Biggs. This episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Enough with boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5 Hour Energy shots. Go to 5hourenergy.com or Amazon today. I just wanted to say thank you again for having me as your host. This marks my third week as the host. I decided it was time to level up my hat wearing skills, I guess. Went to the game on Friday, which we were going to be talking about here, and finally got me one of the new Serpientes hats. If you guys are watching on YouTube, I look incredible. If you guys are just listening to this, just imagine a very handsome person wearing a really cool purple and teal hat, and at least you got the hat part right. Anyway, I wanted to say thank you for everybody for listening, as well as commenting and everything. I wanted to shout out William Quimwell. William, hopefully I'm saying your name right, but correct me if I'm wrong, who recently said in a comment that D-backs sold at the trade deadline, but now must be feeling seller's regret as they are now only one game behind in the wild card race. That I've never heard seller's regret before, though I feel like it's pretty that should be a fairly common thing. But you're right. And I don't know if I would necessarily even say that. This is the second time I feel like the Diamondbacks were sellers and then ended up performing better than they did beforehand. And I'm trying to remember the exact year, but it was the year that we got Zach Gallen. So it must have been 2018. No, it wouldn't have been 2018. It might have been 2019 or something like that. But there was a year that we sold and we were out, and then we ended up actually like doing pretty well. We didn't make the playoffs, but we had a good run, and it was like, oh, this team actually kind of was good. We weren't expecting that. And that's where they are this year, except they're making quite the run. So, William, thank you for your comment. Thank you, everybody else, for your leaving your comments. Be sure to comment on the YouTube videos as well, so that I can hear from you guys and shout you guys out in the next couple episodes. By the way, really quick, big announcement. We are finally back on Instagram and Twitter at Locked On Diamondbacks. So we are active on there, posting stories, tweeting, doing all that fun social media stuff. I'm learning how to do most of that, so bear with me. But we are posting there pretty regularly. So go give us a follow, or if you already follow us, go make sure you're seeing us there, because we're posting a good amount of fun, interactive, informative stuff. So anyway, just wanted to shout that out as well. Today we're going to be talking about the updated playoff picture, what has all changed over the weekend. A lot. The series preview against the Dodgers coming up this week. But before we do that, let's go ahead and recap the weekend series. A few points before we get started. The Diamondbacks, in case you didn't know, won the series against the Phillies 2-1. They outscored the Phillies 15-13, so not by a ton, but they did outscore the Phillies. Marte, who's been kind of cold lately, went 6 for 13 with 6 hits, a home run, and 4 RBIs, consistently delivering in all 3 games. It was wonderful to see, especially game 1. He really showed up game 1 and then continued to show up in the next 2. Corbin Carroll went 4 for 13 with 4 hits, 1 walk, and 5 RBIs. So both players doing very good. They're the ones that need to show up if we want to be a playoff team, a playoff caliber team, and they haven't been lately. And we've still been able to win. So that was kind of the thing that got me thinking, if they get unlocked, then we're set. We're going. But without them, we can make a good little run, but we're not going to make it very far. And we'll talk about that as we go on in this segment. Also, Corbin Carroll became the first Diamondback in history to make the 30-30 club. He made it yesterday with his 30th stolen base. He had 30 home runs already. And he's also the second player this year to make what we call the 30-30-30 club, which is 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases, and 30 doubles. So that's pretty special as well. Anyway, let's go ahead and look at each of these games real quick. We're not going to cover them as in depth as we do normally because there's 3 of them and we only have so much time here on this podcast. Game 1, Ketel Marte started things off. Actually, before we get to that, the day of this game, I tried something. You guys might have seen it. I posted a short saying, "Hey, I'm going to the game tonight. Let's all give Ketel Marte a standing ovation, like they did with Trey Turner, and he did really great and all that kind of stuff. Let's do that." And I was hoping to get a lot of stuff. I sent it to everybody that I possibly could think of. Spread the word. Let's do this. I was calling news outlets. I was sending it to celebrities. I was trying to get anything and everything I could. Zilch, nothing. Didn't get anything. But I am a man of my word. When Ketel Marte came up, I stood up. My brother was with me. I forced him to stand up with me, and the two of us sitting on the Phillies side of the stadium gave him a standing ovation, and he hit a home run and had the best game he's had in a very long time. So you're welcome, everybody. You're welcome, Ketel Marte. I don't want to toot my own horn or anything, but there you go. You are all so welcome. Anyway, Ryan Nelson was our starting pitcher on that day. He pitched 5 strong innings, but he did give up the tying run in the 5th. So it was tied 2-2 going into the 6th inning. Walker Buehler, who is a starting pitcher for the Phillies, ended up coming in for relief after the 4th inning. So in the 5th inning for Taijuan Walker, who was their starting pitcher. So we ended up facing 2 starting pitchers in a row for about 4 innings each. And I think that really threw off the offense because being there in person, watching that, it's like, okay, well, their bullpen is not as good as their starting rotation. So we got him out early. Great. Oh, Walker Buehler's up. What? And that messed everything up. So it was a good strategy on the Phillies. I'll give them that. And it worked because, he kept us pretty darn quiet. The Taylor Rashi came in, and he did give up another run that was inherited by Beeks in the 6th. We did see a brand new pitcher make his MLB debut, Philip Abner, who has come up through the farm, and his very first batter as a major league pitcher was against Kyle Schwarber, and he struck him out. Got Kyle Schwarber out in his very first at bat. And I hope he got the ball from that because that was awesome. He did end up getting out of a bases loaded jam as well without giving up any runs. So bases loaded, 2 outs, struck out the final guy. So did a very, very good job. Very impressive from Philip Abner. We'll talk about him a little bit more as well. Jake Woodford came in, gave up a 2-run home run in the 8th. Only one of those was earned because it was 2 outs and a error by, I believe it was Blaze Alexander. And then the Diamondbacks in the 8th inning, in the bottom of the 8th, loaded the bases with 2 outs. A home run would have given them the lead, and but they didn't get any runs. That didn't happen. Jordan Lawler came in as a pinch hitter and popped up to the infield. So didn't really work out there, which Jordan Lawler has been very clutch and very good as a pinch hitter. So I think that was definitely the right move. It just didn't pan out. It happens. Woodford would then give up 3 additional runs in the top of the 9th, and we would lose the game 8-2. It did not look very good. And I'm sad to say that Woodford was also designated for assignment yesterday on Sunday. So this was his last appearance on the Diamondbacks, unfortunately. I did like him, but I understand that I guess we don't have a shortage of relief pitchers right now with the minor league system that we have, so which is good. But I don't know. I was surprised to see that he was DFA'd, and I tweeted about it. So you can go follow and you see the Twitter X's or whatever. Game 2 looked considerably better, although the Phillies did get 2 runs on the board against Zach Gallen in the 1st inning. They weren't like egregious issues with Zach Gallen, they managed to tack on 2 runs via sac flies and small hits, things like that. But Perdomo and Carroll quickly got one back in the bottom of the first. McCarthy and Marte would get another one back in the third. So they both get back-to-back base hits or something like that. So they combined to get another run back in the third. So we're tied. Alec Boehm, who, by the way, he was impossible to get out. He didn't get out a single time in yesterday's game. I don't know what he's taken, but it's anti-Diamondback pills or something, because he was impossible to get out. He hit a solo home run to make it 2-3. Then Blaze Alexander and James McCann hit back-to-back doubles to tie it in the 6th, and Vargas would later score McCann to give us a 4-3 lead. Zach Gallen ended up pitching 7 full innings with 9 strikeouts. He is really putting up a run, and Bob Brenly mentioned that he's been putting in a lot of extra work on his location, and that it's paying off literally, because he's going to be a free agent next year. And the way he's playing right now in these last couple months, he's going to make a lot more money than he would have had he not made those adjustments. So, but I've always been in the boat of like, let's trade Gallen and get as much as we can for him, because I wasn't seeing much in his future. And up until recently, I was kind of proven right, but I'm kind of coming back on that. I'm kind of like, you know what, we ought to re-sign Zach Gallen, even if just for a year or two. I'm kind of falling into that camp now, because he is putting up some really good numbers, and I kind of would love to see if he could overtake Brandon Webb on the number 2 spot for most Diamondback strikeouts, because he's actually close. He's probably like 55 strikeouts or so. I didn't look it up, but he's somewhere in that range. Probably, I think it's 56 strikeouts. Blaze Alexander did give up a error in the game before, but in this game in the top of the 8th, there was a Kyle Schwarber got a single, nobody out, and then Bryce Harper liner up the middle, and Blaze with an incredible diving catch. I guess it wasn't up the middle, but Perdomo was covering second with an amazing diving catch. Blaze Alexander makes the grab. He didn't catch it. He fielded it and managed to get Schwarber out at second and completely stopped the momentum, because you could tell that was going to be a big inning, especially if that ended up getting by him. So Blaze very likely saved the game in the 8th. And then the bullpen got it done and ended the game without giving up any more runs. So we ended up winning 3-4. So good job, Diamondbacks, looking better than we were in game 1. Still pretty close. But then game 3 is really, yesterday's game, they looked good. Eduardo Rodriguez, he is the man. He has figured something out in this last couple months, and he is going to town. He was incredible. Shut out, 6 innings. Fantastic. And then offensively, the first 4 Diamondbacks in the game reached base, which resulted in a scored run. And then in the second inning, the first 4 Diamondbacks would reach again, which was result in a two RBIs for Marte. And then right after Marte, a 3-run home run from Corbin Carroll. So in the first 2 innings, we had 6 runs. So 6-0. From there, the other thing that happens often with the Diamondbacks is we get like 1 or 2 innings where we'll put up a real big crooked number, and then we're silent for the rest of the game. I was really nervous that was going to happen, because we've seen the Phillies make up far more than a 6-run deficit before. So I was pretty nervous, but Erod would not let them. They would get hits. Don't get me wrong. He wasn't perfect. They would get hits. They'd get doubles. They'd get people on base. There'd be a guy on the corners or whatever. But he managed to get out of it every single time. Cool as a cucumber, looking great, doing great. And then Jorge Barosa had his very first big league home run. So big congratulations to him. Corbin Carroll stole his 30th base, giving him access to the 30-30 club, first Diamondback to do it. Tim Tawa would hit a solo home run. And then Corbin Carroll would double in the 9th. He would reach third and scored on a Moreno ground out, which gave the Diamondbacks their 9th run of the game. A couple other things of note. Erod, he did go out into the 7th to pitch and gave up a runner on first and third without recording an out. So in comes the brand new Philip Abner, to see if he can get out of that without giving up any runs. And in 6 pitches, he got 3 outs. Induced a pop-up and got who else but Kyle Schwarber to hit into a double play. So 6 pitches, 3 outs, got him out of there. Erod, 0 earned runs for the game. Taylor Rashi did come in to pitch the entirety of the 8th and did have a pretty rough go with locating his pitches, and ended up loading the bases, giving up 2 runs, including one of them was a walk RBI. He walked in a run, but he did get out of it without too much more trouble. But it was starting to look at the point where it was like, okay, the bases are loaded. They have 2 runs, a home run. Schwarber was on deck. A home run would make it 8-6, and then they're right back in it. But he did manage to get that last out to keep that from happening. And then Nabil Crismatt, who we haven't seen since his last start, came in to pitch the 9th and got it done. So very good job from him. We're going to talk a little bit about the takeaways that we have from this series. But before we do that, we have a few words from our sponsor. So please don't go anywhere. This episode is brought to you by Zippix Toothpicks. Whether you're looking for nicotine satisfaction or an energy boost, Zippix has you covered with their nicotine and caffeine-infused toothpicks. For nicotine users, Zippix provides a discreet way to satisfy cravings and the hand-to-mouth habit without vaping or smoking. Zippix can be a helpful tool as you work to reduce your dependence on vaping. Available in 6 great flavors with 2 milligram and 3 milligram nicotine options. And if you need energy without the crash, their caffeine toothpicks are a game changer. Go to zippixtoothpicks.com. Use code LOCKEDON for 10% off your first order. Must be 21 or older to order. Warning, nicotine is an addictive chemical. That's zippixtoothpicks.com. Promo code LOCKEDON. Zip more, smoke less with Zippix Toothpicks. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5-hour energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs with the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. What I love most is how portable they are. Big taste, tiny shot. You can take it anywhere and get that boost when you need it. Enough with boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-hour energy shots. Get the favorites you love, or be bold and try something new in store and online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon today. A few takeaways from this series. We are dealing with a playoff caliber team. The Diamondbacks just won a series against the Giants, who have been very good, or had been very good up to this point. They're doing a very good job. Against the Phillies, and we are now going up against the Dodgers and the Padres. And not only are we winning, but we're holding our own. We're doing a very good job. And I think as long as Ketel Marte and Corbin Carroll are on, and they're going and they're working and they're doing what they just do, they don't need to be performing better than they usually do. They just need to be performing at the level that they usually do, which is all-star caliber. Then the Diamondbacks are a playoff caliber team. But they haven't been playing that most of the year. So this new Diamondbacks may be a little too late. They kind of definitely hurt themselves not playing very well up to this point. And so that they were perpetually that 4th place spot in the division and was never able to get past that. We've never been in the wild card spot really, and because of all the losses that we've accrued over the season, we're not going to make it. Had we been playing like this all year, we would have clinched the division by now. I'm certain of it. The Dodgers are not playing record-breaking baseball like they have in years past. The Padres are doing a fairly good job, but still they're not unbeatable. the Diamondbacks, had they been playing like this, they'd be up there with the Brewers. We'd be competing for home field advantage, is what we'd be doing right now. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. But if we can just make it to the postseason, then that's really kind of all that matters. If we can make it there, then we're in and anything can happen. We know that better than anybody. The other thing that I noticed is that the maturity is starting to show, meaning that the players who have more experience and more maturity on the field, you're starting to see it. And the younger players who have their hot streaks are kind of starting to, that's their lack of maturity is starting to show as well. I love Blaze Alexander. I'm so excited to see him next year and to see him play a full season and to see where he goes. But even he had this kind of hot streak this last series, the last few series is maybe not quite as hot as he had been, which is fine because we have the mature players. Like James McCann is not an all-star player, but he has that maturity, and he's what Torey Lovello calls a baseball expert. He just knows baseball. He understands how to be successful in baseball. And whether that translates in his own playing or in the playing of his team, it doesn't really matter. But that has been helping a lot. Ketel Marte this series was showing off that maturity. Corbin Carroll, for his third season, has a lot of maturity. Geraldo Perdomo, Gabriel Moreno, I think their maturity is growing a lot as well, and it's really showing. Comparing them to years past, they look like veterans at this point, especially because there are so many young players. You have your Barossa, your McCarthy's, you have your Taylor Rashi, you have Tim Tawa, you have all these younger players who have been called up either earlier this year or recently that have a little bit of growing to do and will kind of get hot here and there. But then when they have a hard time, it seems like they fall really far. Where a mature player will have their ups and downs, but they know how to get right back up if they go down. And so I think that these players are going to be fine and they're going to be good so long as they have those mature players to lean on. And that's why I was saying Marte and Carroll need to get hot now, because the players who have been carrying the team, those young, not immature, but those young players who lack the maturity, aren't going to be hot for much longer, and they're going to dip. And as soon as they do, if Marte and Carroll and Moreno and everybody aren't there to pick them up, then that's going to be it. And that's just on offense. Defense, the exact same thing. Gallen has been doing such a good job. Erod has been doing such a good job. And where Fott and Nelson have, I think, shown a little bit of wariness. And Fott had an amazing outing last time. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to forget that. But he has looked all season a little bit more shaky than what I think we were kind of hoping for. So that's just another example of why maturity is so important. Anyway, let's quickly look at that playoff picture before we get to our next and final segment. The playoff picture right now, the Mets lost their series against the Nationals. I wasn't expecting them to lose against the Nationals. I was counting on the Mets losing 2 series and winning 2 series. They won the previous series that I thought they were going to lose against the Padres, but they've lost the series against the Nationals, which I thought they were going to win. They're going against the Cubs next, and the Cubs are quite good. Then after the Cubs, the Mets are facing the Marlins, which we're going to talk about them here in a second. They're doing amazing. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but they have been killing it lately. So if they keep that up, then the Mets kind of have it rough. The Giants lost their series against the Dodgers 1-3 because theirs was a 4-game series. So they lost the first 3 games against the Dodgers. They are playing against the Cardinals tonight, and that'll be a 3-game series. And then they will face the Rockies for 3 games, and that'll be the end of their series. The Reds swept the Cubs. They're on a 5-game winning streak right now. The Reds are doing pretty hot right now. That's not good. But the Cardinals then the Cardinals won their series against the Brewers 2-1. The Cardinals, I'm still bringing them up because it's fun to bring them up, and they're putting up a real good fight, so I want to shout them out. But I think the Cardinals are more or less out of contention. And then, like I said, the Marlins swept the Rangers. The Rangers are in a wild card race of their own. They are having a rough go. I think they may be out at this point. I'm not sure, actually. I didn't even check the Rangers because American League, why would I even bother? But the Marlins are on a 6-game winning streak. They've won at least 9 of their last 10. So they are, they're on a hot tear right now, which is great because they are playing against the Mets to end the season. So I'm happy about that. Let's see. Yeah, the Rangers are 5 games out. So they're done. They've lost 7 games in a row. So too bad for the Rangers. Now, and then we won our series against the Phillies 2-1. So that's great. The Mets, big shocking news. The Mets have lost their wild card spot. As of yesterday, they are tied with the Reds, who have the tiebreaker. So if it ends now, if it ends the way that it is right now, the Mets are not going to the playoffs. They've had that spot forever, and they lost it just like that. We are a game behind both of them. We have the tiebreaker on the Mets, but the Reds have the tiebreaker on us. So if we end up tying with the Mets, we're in. If we tie with the Reds, we're out. The Giants are 3 games behind, 2 games behind us. If they lose today, I'm kind of counting them out, but they are still in this race. Then the Marlins or Cardinals are 4 games behind, 3 games behind us. There are only 6 games left, 4 games behind. That's probably not going to happen. So the Marlins and Cardinals probably out as well, but we'll keep an eye on them anyway. Also, the Giants are 2 games from being eliminated since they don't have the tiebreaker on anybody. So they need to not only tie with them, they need to be ahead. So 2 games, if they lose 2 games, or if the Mets or if whoever ends up making it win 2 games, then the Giants are out. The Reds don't have any games from elimination, and then we and the Mets are 5 games from elimination. So kind of fun. Anyway, 6 games left. We're going to talk about the Dodgers preview, but first we're going to talk a little bit about those who help out the channel and the network. So stay right there. You've probably seen a million ads for hair growth products and thought, sure, like that actually works. There are so many products out there, it's hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. That's why you should give Nutrafol a closer look. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. And it's not just hype. This is a supplement clinically tested that targets the root causes of thinning and shedding with a proactive approach. See thicker, stronger hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering Locked On MLB listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Most people can't name all of their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. It can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, and get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB. So we have our Dodger series coming up. We are going to talk a lot more about this in tomorrow's episode because today is a off day for the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks are in a very good position right now because their bullpen is already very well rested. give them another day. The bullpen's going to be good as new. And a lot of our hitters are looking good, feeling good. So this is going to be a very good off day. And I believe our last off day of the season. So big off day. Take advantage of it, everybody. Our rotation for the series is going to be Brandon Pfaadt, Ryan Nelson, and Zach Gallen. So pretty good lineup. We have our two young guys followed by our ace veteran, third in strikeouts in franchise history. Their rotation is going to be Ohtani, Snell, and Yamamoto. So not slouches either. Sorry, I'm allergic to not slouches. The Dodgers are coming off of a loss. I was actually kind of hoping for a Giants to get swept, but I was actually a little bit happy to see that the Dodgers lost yesterday, just to kind of curb any momentum that they had. Though they are still hoping to clinch the division, and they still need 3 games, either 3 wins from them or 3 losses from the Padres to clinch. So they are still going to be playing for that. Pfaadt is coming off of a 9-inning, 1-hit shutout. Nelson and Gallen are coming off from great outings as well. Gallen from a 7-inning win. And then Marte and Carroll, they're back. They're hitting. They're delivering. They're having fun. Everybody's having fun. They literally had every player write the word fun on a piece of paper, and then they put it on a t-shirt, and they're just passing them out to all the players. So the vibes are good. The feelings are good. And the Diamondbacks love to beat the Dodgers. So let's go out there. Let's beat the Dodgers. And if we do beat the Dodgers, and if we are able to beat the Padres as well, make the postseason, we will face the Dodgers in the very first round. So this is a very, very important and telling series, and I can't wait to see how it goes. Tomorrow starts our next elimination series, quote unquote, against the Dodgers here in Arizona. I will be posting updates on the YouTube channel, so go and subscribe there if you haven't already. And guess what? As I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, we are back on Instagram and Twitter, so go follow us at Locked On Diamondbacks. We are posting fun stuff over there, informative stuff, quick updates and things like that. So make sure to give us a follow. I will be back here tomorrow morning to get things ready for our series against LA. We are here on YouTube as well as every other place that you get your podcasts. If you want to see more of me, you can go find some of my YouTube channels and other projects at slackshack.tv. Thank you for making Locked On Diamondbacks your first listen every day. For your second listen, find the all-night Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night until a World Series champion is crowned. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. My name is Danon Biggs, and I will see you tomorrow.